For our fourth tip, we'll be talking about how to prevent something that happened to me. I had 3 boxes of squib loads. Now, for all those of you who do reload, you know what a squib load is and you know why we don't like them. Kabooms of firearms tend to result. Bulged barrels, the whole thing. It's just a bad scene. We want to avoid squibs. So, how did this happen to the token liberal, apparently, of reloading and shooting? I'll tell you how. See this powder hopper right here, which is full of 2400 powder? See, 2400 powder. Ooh.
Ooh, ah. Sorry, I missed my cue there.
Yeah, we'll work on it. Well, you see it's full. It's right up to there. Well, when I was going to boom, boom, just banging out ammunition at that 375 round per hour rate, it had gotten down about here.
Oops.
And I thought, oh, it's no big deal. I'll just do a few more and then fill it up later.
Oops.
Yeah, famous last words. By the way, this is a tip that's not necessarily specific to the Pro 1000. It's specific to any powder measure at all. But I just happen to be using the Pro Autodisc powder measure. But it applies to any powder measure. Y'all can figure out what happened. I got into the groove. I forgot. Next thing I know, I look at the powder hopper and it's empty. And I'm going, uh-oh. That's not good.
Insert curse word here.
Insert curse word here. This is a family show, so we won't be talking about what curse word that was, but I can assure you it was something fierce. I had to pull apart over 150 rounds. So how do you avoid that? I have an imaginary line. No, not a Maginot line, an imaginary line. That is right there. Okay? Right where the Allen wrench is. Mm-hmm. When I see the powder get to that point, I fill it up no matter what. That is my new procedure to avoid running out of powder. It was entirely my own fault. I deserved every bit of the wasted time that I went through to pull those rounds apart. That's how you can avoid that.
So it's sort of like keeping your car from running out of gas.
When you get to quarter tank, fill your gas tank up. When you get to a quarter of your powder measure, fill it up. Pretty easy to solve. Okay, for our next tip, and this was requested by someone who sent me an email, we are going to show you how to get the primers out of the priming system on the Pro 1000 press. The reason for this is you may have a fully stocked press, you may have something going on with it, you may need to clean it, whatever. Gee, it'd be a good idea to be able to get the primers out of the thing, huh? So let's come on and take a look over at this press here. It is set up for 357 Magnum. And as you will note, this is a fully stocked press. The powder hopper is full of 2400 powder. How do we know that? I never load without it here. We got all sorts of shells in here, and we've got a bunch of primers. See that? Bunch of primers. We got to get them out. And particularly note that they're down in the primer feed chute here. Probably might not be able to see it too well behind the chain. But yeah, there they are. Right along there. We've got to get them out. So what we're going to do is show you how to do that. Okay, full face shield as always whenever handling primers. Okay. Now, I'll lift this up, take this round out of there so that you can see this, and just set it aside temporarily. I'm going to take all of these out actually and put them in order. Okay.
Normally you'd be wearing gloves.
Normally I'd be wearing gloves, but this is just a quick tip, and I'm not actually handling any bullets, so it's not that big a deal. Our tools of choice for this are two small things. In my case,
It's an Allen wrench. And this little thing from the thing you use for unlocking house doors. Okay, like bedroom doors and such. Okay, why do we need these? You'll see. What we're going to do is basically hook the lowest primer here in the chute and kind of push them up into here, into this thing. Okay? But we'll need two of them. So here we go. Raise it up, raise the arm up, or raise the ram up, excuse me, lower the handle. And we need to twist this shell plate just a little bit so that we can see the primer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now here's what we do. Very carefully, because we don't want it to go bang, we just hook it like that and just start pushing. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go up the chute, there may be a little resistance, it's okay. Now that we got them started, good. Now we got them started, I'm going to hold them here, and I'm going to come in with my other hand from the other side and use the Allen wrench with the little bent thing. Mm-hmm. That's this thing. Hook them in just like that. Now, I'll set this down over here. I hope you can see this.
Yes, yes we can.
So, now we're just going to push them in from the bottom. And watch how it goes up through.
Mm-hmm. You're getting pushed back into the tray.
They certainly are. And up we go. Okay? And we keep going. Ah, they're all the way up.
So the end of the Allen wrench is essentially in the tray.
Right, you can
I can
see it there.
that.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Okay.
Now, we've got to pull this out, the tray out. We've got to pull the primer tray out. Of course, if we do that, the way things are now, the primer, as we get space in here, I'll just wiggle, 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 wiggle. You'll see that space in there?
Mm-hmm.
The space, of course, increases. And the primer will eventually fall out because there will be nothing there to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle to pull it out. You see that primer that wanted to fall down?
Sort of.
That one right there did.
Yes, I see that.
Here's how we stop that. Now we bring on the other tool again. That's why we use two tools. Mm-hmm. One to hold it now, and we just push it in there like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now we can take this little Allen wrench out, and off we go. Ta-da!
Nice.
And that's how you do it. Now, to put it back on, easy. Just like this. Okay, take your tool. Just put it here to hold the primers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to come up, and you see how it tried to fall down?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not letting it because I have the little tool here. And we just plug it back in. Done.
And now now the primers are back in the chute.
Correct.
Nice.
And that is the easy way to get primers out of the priming system on the Pro 1000. For our final tip about the Pro 1000 Progressive Press, you know that it comes with the Pro Autodisc powder measure, which is a powder measure that personally I love. I think it's great. It drops to within like 0.1 grain of powder each and every time for me. Of course, I use powders that meter very well, like 2400, Bullseye, Clays, what else? Tight Group, H322. All those run great through this. However, one of the things that I commonly hear, one of the common complaints that I hear is this little chain right here. This is the one that returns the powder measure to its reset position so that it gets another charge of powder and then you can dump it in and so on. Well, this chain is known to break on occasion. It's happened to me. So, the big question is, how do we avoid that? Okay, let's talk about how to deal with this chain. Okay, you notice, I just pulled the handle a little bit, there's a lot of slack in there. Now I'll push the handle all the way up, which lowers the ram all the way. And you'll notice, when I do that, there's a spring right down there. This spring right there. Okay, a little tension. Okay, that's the give so that you can avoid breaking the chain. Adjusting this chain matters. Okay, now how to do that we discuss in other videos regarding the Pro 1000, but we'll go through it again quickly here just so that you know what's going on. Okay, I'll take it out. Pull the handle up, out you come. And here's the chain. Okay, there it is. Okay, you get this stuff at Home Depot. It's the same exact kind of stuff that you use for turning on and off your lights on, say, your ceiling fans and such. Okay, now to install it, you do just like this. That's without breaking it. You do like this. There's a little hole. This hole right here. Okay. Woo, 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 woo. There's the hole. Now we're going to, from the bottom, bring this chain up through the hole. It takes a very steady hand.
Lovely shot I've got of your gloves, Cowboy Ted.
Okay, there it comes.
Oh, for a second. Got it. Okay.
Oops, I lost it.
Sorry.
Okay. There, here it comes. Thread it through. Try again, thread it through. There we go. Okay, there it is. Okay, great. Now, we need to find out what kind of distance we need. So, what I do is I push the ram all the way. I lower the ram all the way, which means I push the handle all the way up to the top, all the way. Boom. Now, coming up here, we thread through here. Okay, I don't yank it. There's still just a little bit of slack, just enough to see if I can take up a little bit of slack there. Okay, now, the second hole over here, up on the powder measure, we'll deal with here in just a moment. Okay, I'm referring to this hole right there. So what we do is we raise the ram a bit, pull the handle down just a bit, and we pull one. Now, watch the spring down here. Watch what happens. Perfect. We want it just like that. Okay, now back up here. Now we pull the handle up, give it some slack. Okay.
Or down. You pull the handle down.
I'm sorry, we pull the handle down and raise the ram. And now we thread the other end of this chain through the second hole. That will be this hole here. You probably can't see me do it because my hands are in the way.
Actually, not this time.
Okay, now I'm going to leave a little bit of slack.
There's like a second hole farther, about 1/4 of an inch in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, now, I'm going to lower slowly. Pay attention when you do this to that spring. That's your key. This really matters for not breaking this chain. Okay? Oops. And I'm not all the way down yet. That spring's already compressing. That means I must have pulled this chain a little bit, one or two links up a bit much. So, raise the ram. Give yourself a little more slack. 1 or 2 links is all you need. Okay. 1 link too many. Okay, and now I need to back off that off by 1 link. Raise the ram. 1 link is all we need. Perfect.
So the spring compresses, but not all the way.
The spring compresses, but not all the way, just a little bit.
All right.
That's all you want. And that's how you adjust this thing without breaking the chain. Now, to keep from breaking the chain as you load, really don't mess with it. It's the best way to do it. It's the best thing to do. But also, one of the things I've done is I'll raise the ram and I'll take off the turret with the chain still on there. That'll do it. Yeah.
You make it sound like that's a good thing, Cowboy T.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not, because that means you got to replace your chain again. So, anytime you take off the turret, remember to take this little chain off first. And that'll save you some annoyance. Granted, the chain is cheap. Again, you can get it at Home Depot, Lowe's, or any other home improvement store, but that's downtime from that you could be using to reload. Hopefully this little tip helps save you some time. And this being the last of our tips, hopefully this whole series has gotten you some ideas of tips and tricks you can use to make your Pro 1000 run a bit more smoothly and deal with some of the quirks. Thanks for watching, and again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
San Francisco liberal with a gun.